Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, everybody.
Oh my God, is that Tia with a camera on?
I know, right?
Oh, hello. I thought it would be rude not to have it on.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. I'm going to try turning it this way. What happens? No, I like it better the other way.
Welcome, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. You're all muted right now, except for the main speakers. We would love to see your faces if you want to share your cameras so we can see you. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. We've got people coming in still, so we're gonna, I'll keep admitting people in the waiting room. I keep forgetting we have a waiting room. I have to remember to admit them all.
Well, good. We got a good turnout.
Now we're getting people coming in. Hello, everybody. Welcome. For those who just joined us, welcome.
So what I could do, DaVina, I could disable the waiting room so they go directly into the meeting.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that? Go ahead and disable the waiting room. That'd be awesome.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Hello.
And welcome, everybody. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome, everybody. Hello. We're already starting to get questions.
They're cutting to the chase. They're cutting to the chase.
They're ready to
And
go.
I actually love that. I love the chat function, so I think that's really great.
Well, it's already 12:03, so I am a stickler about trying to start on time, and we're already so we'll go ahead and get started, and as people trickle in, we'll get going. So the way we're going to do this, we do have the chat function, and I'll be watching for those questions and trying to answer the questions in chat the best I can, if you guys go easy on me. And we'll do that. We are going to try to keep this like we try to start on time and end on time. So 1 hour. Welcome, everybody. And we're going to get started here. My name, for those of you who may not know me, I'm sure most of you do, I am DaVina Lara. I'm the CEO for Bridge Association and bridgeMLS. With us today, I am honored to have the where did she go? You turn your, there she is, the lovely, the lovely Tia Hunnicutt. She is our MLS chair for bridgeMLS. And I'm going to give her a moment here to talk, and then I'm going to turn over the whole program to Gustavo Rodriguez, and then we will answer your questions. And we're here today to talk about the Clear Cooperation Rule 8.0 that went into effect on May 1st. And so, and there's going to be a lot of questions, I know, but we will get this program started. Thank you again for joining us today on our MLS town hall meeting. I do see our president from the association has also joined us, Eric Wong. We're happy to have him join us. I have several of our board members here. I see Wayne Corey, Beta is on the line with us too. So we have some great people here joining us today. So let's turn it over right now. Let me introduce again Tia Hunnicutt, our MLS chair.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for attending the meeting today. I am so very excited to be here. I represent you as a participant or a subscriber, so I'm here basically to give the working view of how this rule will move forward. I'm so very excited that our national organization, National Association of Realtors, stepped in to protect both the cooperation between brokers as well as the civil rights aspect of making sure that everyone has fair access to homes as they become available. So I'm very excited to be here today to express that that was the intention. And the intention wasn't to stifle business in any way, but to facilitate it. So I'm very excited to be here, and I'm going to go ahead and hand it back to very capable and lovely DaVina and very capable Gustavo. And also, he's lovely too.
Oh, he is lovely, isn't he? Yeah. Thank you, Tia. We've been so honored to have Tia serve as our chair on the MLS for many years. It seems like she puts in a lot. She's been on the MLS side for a long, long time. We're very lucky to have her. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the COO of bridgeMLS and Bridge Association, Gustavo Rodriguez, to discuss our coming soon listings and our new Rule 8.0, the Clear Cooperation Rule. Take it away, Gustavo.
Awesome. Thank you, DaVina, and thank you, Tia. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So we're going to start talking about a Statement 8.0, and I'm going to go over the generals of Statement 8.0, and then I'm going to go into the details of it so that then we can take it to some questions from you guys. And so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you the statement. So let's see, share, there you go. You should be looking at my screen. And my screen, it's the bridgeMLS.com website. So before I go into the Clear Cooperation Policy, let me just let you know that we have our bridgeMLS.com website that has a lot of information in it, very important information. This is our center of information. This is our go-to place for MLS updates and news, and also access the MLS platforms, access all the different applications that we have, and all sorts of information. So please keep in mind to go into bridgeMLS.com. If you look at the menu up on the top, we also have access to all the different forums. We have the MLS rules updated and the frequently asked questions about the MLS rules. We have a place for the news and the podcasts. We create videos, training videos. You can sign up for classes in here as well. So there's a lot of information on our bridgeMLS.com site. As well, you can log into the system by going into Tools and MLS. This little button right here, or in orange, that will take you into the login screen. And then it will take you into the dashboard that will have a link to all the different applications that we offer in the MLS. So bridgeMLS.com, remember that. So up on the very top of the landing page, we have the latest news. And you can see up on the top where we have the MLS Clear Cooperation Policy Statement 8.0. Before I click into the details of that, I'm going to highlight this sentence right here, this couple of sentences. And that it pretty much outlines and recaps what Statement 8.0 is all about. Within 1 business day of marketing a property to the public, the listing broker must submit the listing to the MLS for cooperation with other MLS participants. All right, so if you market a listing, you need to enter it into the MLS. And the reason for that is the statement says it right here, is for cooperation. So the basis of the MLS is cooperation and compensation. So we want to make sure that we have a level playing field for everyone and that the information is available to all participants and subscribers. So that is the basis of Clear Cooperation Policy Statement 8.0. I'm going to click on the link in here, and that's going to give me going to a landing page that has more detailed information on the Clear Cooperation Policy. I'm going to scroll down in here. And it gives you a little bit more information on the policy itself. The rule was approved by the National Association of Realtors. Actually, the rule, that's where it's coming from the National Association of Realtors. and it is a mandatory rule. It's nationwide. The rules states that within 1 business day of marketing a property to the public, the listing broker must submit the listing to the MLS for cooperation with other MLS participants. Public marketing includes, but is not limited to, flyers, yard signs, digital marketing, brokerage websites, email blasts, social networks, etc. And before I go into this link over here that you see where it says to view bridgeMLS Q&A sheet, before I do that, I'm just gonna point out a couple more links of resource information. If you click on this link down here, that will take you to the NAR, and I'm gonna click on it real quick. It takes you out to the NAR page, and it explains to you all about the MLS Clear Corporation policy. It gives you all of the detailed information on the policy itself. It states exactly what the policy reads. And if you scroll down, it will give you the frequently asked questions according to NAR. So this is NAR's website. You can expand on the frequently asked questions on their site, and that will give you a lot of detailed information on the Clear policy. But I'm gonna go back into our page and so that I can show you what we feel are the most important questions that we have received at the MLS. So going back into our page on bridgeMLS.com, I'm gonna go down and click on the link to view the bridgeMLS Q&A sheet. So I'm gonna click in here. Oh, before I do that, let me just show you, there is a video also that we embedded into the website. So this video that we embedded into the site, it's a video put together by NAR, and it actually explains clearly, you know, how the policy came about and how to implement it and what is it that it covers, and it goes over some Q&A as well. So feel free to go into this site and just into the site and click on it on the video. So I'm gonna click to view the frequently asked questions for bridgeMLS. All right, so these are the Clear Corporation Statement 8.0 frequently asked questions for bridgeMLS. I'm gonna go over most of them. So, and then after that, I can take some questions from you guys. When was the rule passed? The rule was passed in November of last year. And who made that decision? That decision was made by first the NAR MLS committee. Then from the NAR MLS committee, it went over to NAR Board of Directors. It got approved on November of 2019 on those meetings in San Francisco. It's the rule states that must be implemented as of May 1st. So as of last Friday, May 1st, we have started to implement this rule. And again, what the rule states, and I'm gonna scroll all the way down to the end of this sheet so that you can see what the rule states. Again, within 1 business day of marketing the property to the public, the listing broker must submit the listing to the MLS. All right, so I'm going back up to the questions. And so 1 business day, what is the meaning of 1 business day? Well, you know, it's not for you guys, because you guys, a business day for you is 7 days a week, but the business day is Monday through Friday. It excludes Saturdays and Sundays and holidays. So if you start marketing a property on a Friday and Monday is a holiday, you must submit the listing into the MLS by Tuesday. I'm gonna go into the next question here, and this one talks about marketing the property into third-party websites. Can I market the listing on third-party websites such as Zillow, Facebook, or Top Agent Network without putting it on the MLS? The answer to that is no. You cannot market the listing on third-party websites, not if it is your company website, not if it's Facebook, Zillow, TAN, Realtor.com, anywhere. If you do market the listing into the public, again, you have 1 day to submit it into the MLS. Even if you have a waiver, you know, even if you have submitted a waiver to the MLS saying that you're not going to be marketing the property, once you're marketing the property to the public, you have 1 day to submit it into the MLS. Now, What is considered public marketing? So I'm going to go into the next question and I'm going to scroll down. Public marketing includes, but like I said, but it's not limited to flyers and brochures, yard signs, brokerage website displays. That includes IDX and BOW. And when I say IDX and BOW, I'm just going to talk about the difference between one and the other real quick, just for general information. IDX, that will imply for your own website, your company website, and a BOW, that's a virtual office website. So that's an office website and your personal website. So either one, you should not be marketing a property without putting it into the MLS within 1 business day. Public facing digital marketing, you should not be doing that unless you do enter it into the MLS. Digital communication marketing, multi-brokerage listing sharing networks. So that is what's considered public marketing. That and anything else that you do, that you promote the property to the public, that is considered marketing. Is there any way for the seller to opt out of this policy? There's just no way. Any listing that is publicly marketed must be submitted to the MLS within 1 business day. We submitted the SELM or the waiver to the MLS. Where can I market the listing without requiring me to submit the listing onto the MLS? The only place where you can actually market the property when you have submitted a waiver is within the office when you make it an office exclusive. So statement 8.0, and this is a question that we have received in other meetings that we had, is it, can I market the property on office exclusive? Office exclusive works exactly the same way that it's been working all along. So statement 8.0 does not touch office exclusive, does not change the way that you've been doing office exclusive. So the way that you've been doing office exclusive, that remains the same. It doesn't, statement 8.0 doesn't touch it. So that goes into the next question. Does policy statement 8.0 prohibits office exclusives? Just like I said, it does not. You can do office exclusives just like you've been doing office exclusives. The next question is, when you submit the waiver, because the property is not ready to show, but I want to put my listing up for as a coming soon on my company website, can I do that? Well, this is also a very common question. You know, I have a listing that's not ready for show, and then I say, well, it is a coming soon listing. I'm going to put it onto my company website because I have submitted a waiver into the MLS. I'm going to go into my company website and just put it as coming soon. No, you cannot do that, because if you put it as coming soon into the company website and you're making it public, then that's it. You're marketing the property out to the public. You need to put it into the MLS. And for that, we have created a coming soon status in the MLS within each property type. So right now, you can go into the system and go into residential, add a listing like you're adding, any new listing that you have added before. And instead of selecting active status or selecting new status, what you do is you select coming soon status. That's all you need to do.
Gustavo, real quick, before you move into the system, there's a green line on your screen.
Oh.
That needs to be removed.
And that green line, where did that came from?
I don't know, but I don't want you to go into the system because it's going to block your screen a little bit and get distracted.
All right. So let me do this real quick.
And sorry, Gustavo, can you hear me?
Yes.
Gustavo, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
And everyone. I just wanted to jump in here quickly while you're transitioning, because I don't want folks to get the perception that this is something punitive. Basically, it's trying to correct, the rule is trying to correct a situation that was beginning to occur in the market where agents were not, and other brokers who had previously worked cooperatively were not having access to properties. And the MLS is there to protect you. It's there to protect your broker. There are disclosure requirements that have been met by the MLS. The MLS guarantees compensation both for you and your broker. So I just hope that people are understanding that there's a utility in putting your listing on the MLS, and that there are protections in place on the MLS that are not there when you just, randomly place your listing on, some of those listing sites that are, I'm not even sure really what the intent is there, because they don't guarantee your compensation. There's nothing there as far as disclosure saying, hey, I've got the wrong square footage. There's no protections there. So I hope that agents are understanding that this is really to ensure that you get paid for your efforts. The MLS is there to make sure you get paid for your efforts, and to make sure that the largest group of people who are capable of purchasing the home have access to purchasing the home. And what is very important to me, as well as all of that, is, as I said earlier, the civil rights implication. If you're holding properties and only exchanging them back and forth between a very small number of agents or brokers, that means that there are certain people that don't have access to properties. And that's bringing on a world of trouble for everyone. And personally, it's something that I feel is unethical, and is not why I think any of us are in real estate.
So let's cover a couple of the questions that have been coming up. I've been trying to answer them as they've come across. And one of the things that somebody asked, and I did answer it, but I'll answer it here, is somebody says about the coming soon properties feeding into my Theo. So no, the coming, if you put it into a coming soon status on our system, those do not syndicate out. So they don't syndicate out into any platforms, into any products like my Theo. So if you do put it into that coming soon status, they're not going to syndicate. And then somebody said freedom of choice, MLS is deemed reliable but not guaranteed. But again, the information, the MLS doesn't put the information in there. The person who inputs the information, you're the one putting that information in there. You're responsible for that information. We're just the keepers of the data. And we're trying to, we're trying to get people from holding back that information. We're trying to make sure that everybody all brokerages get that fair information. What we were seeing happen is that there were a few brokerages or individuals holding their information from the MLS and calling these listings coming soon, and they weren't true coming soons. And they were advertising and marketing them, and we wanting to get these listings into the MLS to give all members of the MLS, all brokerages of the MLS, the opportunity to see these listings. And that was the purpose of the National Association of Realtors coming together, and people on these committees saying, hey, let's make the MLS the keepers of the data, and giving all brokerages, all agents the opportunity for compensation and cooperation and get these listings on there, like Tia was saying. That's the reason of this rule. And anything else, Tia, that you want to add? The questions are going ballistic.
Yes, I saw a comment there about the MLS being guaranteed. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, and the disclosure that the information on the MLS is not guaranteed is there. And that's what I'm saying. The protection that the information that is being presented may or may not be correct is there when you put it on the MLS, but when you put it on these other listing services, it's not. Is your compensation guaranteed when you make an offer on a listing to the MLS? No, but at least somewhere it has been said that this is what is offered, and therefore you then negotiate. If you say, okay, well, I'll give you $500, I'll give my buyer $500 to get a washer and dryer. That's not saying that your compensation wasn't protected. That was a move that you decided to make to ensure that the transaction closed. But what I'm saying is, in these other listing environments, your commission isn't even mentioned. So right. There's no way of even having a starting point of guaranteeing that you're getting some sort of pay for your efforts.
Gustavo, I know we're going to show the coming soon, but you know what? Let's real quick, because we're getting a lot of questions. Yeah. Down at the bottom, you have participants. Why don't we go ahead and take a few more questions? Raise your hand if you click on participants, you should be able to I'm pretty sure do we have the raised hands capability, Gustavo, on this one?
It should be.
Uh,
I'm looking at it. What?
You actually do have it available.
You have to open the participant window and you'll see it there.
is it
Perfect.
there?
Perfect.
Okay,
See,
all right. If you
that's
want to
because
go
we
ahead and
have-
raise your hands, then we'll go ahead and take some questions right now. Let's see.
Yeah.
Trying to see. Oh, am I the host? Yeah, I'm not. 'Cause I'm not. Do we have any hands raised? Are you
Yeah.
seeing hands raised, Gustavo?
No, no one has raised their hand.
Do we have
I'm
any,
not seeing any hands either.
have any
Can
questions?
you just read them?
Huh?
Can you just read them out of the chat?
Yeah, let me see if there's any more in there. Let's go. How does days on market will be, let's see. Wayne, oh, okay, here we go.
Right. So
Top agent network. Okay, well, there are 2 hands raised. See, we're not seeing them on our end. That's what's hard about this.
yeah.
Oh, there we go. Donna. Gutrig.
Hi.
There we go.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I have 2 questions. So are pocket listings going away, or it's just that if you can touch on that, I'd appreciate it. And then coming soon signs in the yard, that's not allowed?
Statement 8.0 will apply to that as well. So once you have a yard sign, a sign in the yard, then yes, you do have to submit the listing within 1 business day into the MLS.
Sorry, Gustavo, is it Donna?
Yes.
Donna, can I ask a question? What do you mean by pocket listing? Because everyone seems to have a different, so just as a practitioner, I'm going to try to explain the practitioner side.
Well, if somebody was to take a listing and they didn't want it on the MLS, they didn't want showings, as long as we're not marketing it publicly, we don't have to put it on the MLS.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, because those situations do, and they're totally, honest and above board, maybe it's a divorce situation, maybe, it's a neighbor, who took care of the person who passed away in the home, and it's not going to market. There was always the agreement that individual is going to purchase the home. Things like that. There's plenty of above board reasons. So that's what the rule is trying to allow, is room for those situations. But then also when, we know what kind of situations persist where people just aren't having access to homes. And that is what NAR is trying to prevent. And it's also trying to prevent situations where people are working hard and aren't being compensated for their efforts.
Okay, so I want to just be clear. If it's on the MLS as coming soon, we still cannot have a coming soon sign in the yard?
No, if it's on,
Then you
if
can.
it's on the MLS as coming soon,
Okay,
do whatever you want.
okay.
But, I mean, that's, within the
A lot.
realm
Yeah.
of.
Thank you.
You said. All right, Wayne, you had a question.
Yes, I've had a lot of agents ask me if agents are not following 8.0, what's the difference if they don't follow or they follow it?
That's a great question. So right now, in the first 30 days, we are issuing warning letters. But on Friday, the MLS committee meeting will be meeting, and we will be discussing what the violation policy will look like in regards to how we will be dealing with the fine structure and all that. So we're in the process right now discussing what the fine structure will look like in regards to the 8.0 rule. So that will be coming in the next couple weeks. Thank you. Let's see, Elizabeth, is it, I'm trying to see the last name. Watson,
Yeah.
great.
Hi. I was just curious about the coming soon status. You may have just answered it, but do we have to have a price for coming soon?
Yes. All of the required fields that you currently have when you enter a new listing are required when you enter a coming soon.
Which basically
And
means
may I
it's not, which basically means it's not coming soon.
Well,
But it could be a
enter
price
range, right?
Yeah.
So you enter a range. You don't have to. You're not as specific with when it's a coming soon listing.
And may I just say, because I have experience with the coming soon status, because it's just easier for me if I have properties that are coming on that I'm going to probably put a coming soon. So I don't want to have to think about it. So I just put it in the coming soon status. We put it in. We had, we did a transparent price. You know, got some calls or whatnot, had some work to do on the property. So didn't actually move through with listing for, you know, a month or two, but did have it in the coming soon status. And I had one price in there. And then when I brought it on later, we decided we would go ahead and list it a little bit lower because they decided not to do the work on the property. You know, sometimes things change. So it's not like you're locked into something. I mean, you can still market it in whatever way you feel makes sense. You know, but that's just kind of from the practitioner perspective. It's not like there's some, it goes into a vault and now therefore whatever you had on that coming soon status is set in stone.
Correct.
So here is a question from Jonathan Franich. So is it okay for us to contact individuals in our database who may have interest as long as we are not marketing it publicly, or is this considered public?
It's a public.
I wonder why publicly was typed in with quote unquote.
Well,
it may not be
what
public.
they're just asking is, can
No,
they?
no, I know. I'm just making a joke. So maybe because it really is, you know, public. I mean, when you start marketing the property, as soon as you start marketing the property, then that is considered, you know, that's when statement 8.0 kicks in.
But that's so I'm going to debate with you on this.
Sure,
because
sure.
according to NAR, they talked about this. If an agent is only contacting within their circle of individuals, that's not considered advertising publicly, is it?
No.
So,
no,
if I may, DaVina, I was at this meeting, and NAR meeting, they talked about this heavily.
Yes.
And they were saying that you can advertise to your clients, I should say client, because you can only do one at a time.
Right.
If you go ahead and do a batch email, that is not private.
That's right.
Then it has to go on the MLS.
That's
You
right.
can only give them a call or send them an email separately, but you can't like batch email everybody.
That's right. That's right.
So yes and no is the answer.
Yeah.
Good job, Wayne.
Team, I have a question and I don't see how to raise your hand.
Okay, go ahead, Tom. Tony.
Okay. We were told, we've discussed this ad nauseum at our sales meetings. We were told that we're not allowed to show properties that are on coming soon status, correct?
So we are having a conversation again about this at the board, at our MLS committee, because we need to come up with a set of guidelines in regards to what is truly a coming soon listing, in that and I think that this is the issue, is that the coming soon status, and this is a conversation that MLSs are having all across the nation, is what is considered a true coming soon listing. You know, when you put a listing into that status, and now you put a lockbox on it, and now you're putting showing instructions, is that truly a coming soon, or is that an active listing, right? So that's something I think that there are going to be guidelines coming in the next month as to what designates a listing as a coming soon. So
Yeah, that would be helpful.
it will be coming. So
Yes,
again, this is a work in progress. And the pandemic and everything, we wish we would have had it sooner. Not hit with a little bit of a hiccup here with everything that's going on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anthony, you had a question.
Yeah, I had a quick question.
Sure.
If you have a coming soon listing and the client themselves, we had one just a few days ago where we have a listing that's coming on, but the client themselves tagged us in their social media posts and said that the property was going to hit the market. I know that's kind of a unique situation. What's your thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Gustavo. What?
Oh.
In a social media post that a listing was coming soon.
If it goes into social media posts and then he makes the public, then statement 8.0 kicks in.
That's right.
Well, it's not me making the post, it's the person that owns the house on their private social media post. So that, you know, when you put a social media, you can put someone's name and tag it.
Right.
Yeah.
So they just said, my beautiful house is going to hit the market next week, and my wonderful agent, you know, blah, 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 and tag you. Sometimes that can add you to another place. It's going to be hard to control them as the owner on their media.
Totally. I think that those are going to be some great areas that down the line we're going to brush and work with. And so if you are made aware of that happening, then you need to let them know, because otherwise you do need to submit it into the MLS. So if you are aware of them tagging you and then making it publicly indirectly, because you have that conversation with them, if it is made public, then it kicks in.
Okay. And Gustavo, if I may, you know, because I'm just watching the chats as well, you know, and just so that everyone understands, the intent is not a punitive environment. Sorry, I think someone, if you could just mute, I think we have a...
I got it.
Thanks, DaVina. The intent is not a punitive environment. It's, again, an opportunity for everyone to have access to as many properties as possible. So support the clear cooperation policy. So it is a work in progress. I just don't want folks, because I know they're coming and going and missing, you know, parts of the conversation. It's not a punitive thing. It's something that we are working. It's a work in progress. So I wanted to make that point.
Yeah, and that's a really great point, Tia. And to that, you know, the way that we see it as the MLS, this is the step in the right direction. So this is the first step. And so, you know, we know that in time we're gonna make tweaks and changes, and we're gonna adapt to it as we move forward. But this is a step in the right direction. Do we go through more questions?
Claudia Schultz had a question. Claudia, you can.
Yes, I can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So maybe I'm just a newer agent, but I have my second listing and it will be coming soon. But the contract listing itself says that we're not going to put it in the MLS until 15 days after signing the listing contract, because we have quite a bit of cleaning to do. Now, this one is probably going to go to an investor or a developer, because it's either a total tear down or a pretty big remodel. So it's like a forest in there. They have to come and clean it up. And so I am not allowed to market this at all anywhere. And, or if there's some sort of, in the MLS itself, if I put it as a coming soon, I just don't want people going there and stuff until it's cleaned up.
Yeah.
But
so Claudia, that's a true coming soon. So if you're not marketing it in any way and you have the SEL filed with us and everything, then you're fine. You don't have to put it into the MLS. You have the SEL filed, you have them sign the SEL, you file that with us, and you're fine. You're good.
So I can market it.
Yeah, you're good. If you don't market it and you're truly cleaning it up and everything, that's okay. You're good.
Right. You don't have to enter it into the MLS. You know, the statement will not apply in this case.
Right. The contract says until 15 days from signing, which was the second. So I can mark it now. Right?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No. You can't mark it.
No. So,
you cannot market it, Claudia.
Not to use it.
Oh, do not market.
Just wipe down. Right. You could use a rag and the spray in much the same way. Can you tell me?
John's using a rag.
So Claudia, again, if you're not marketing, you're good. The minute you market, you have to put it in the MLS.
Okay, can I put in the MLS that it's
a coming soon?
Really, that it's not going to go active until the 17th.
Right. No. You put it in as a coming soon with no marketing, and you can put in the remarks, no showing, the whole bit. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So let's stop on questions and have Gustavo go back now and go on to the system and show you all the actual coming soon
Sure.
status. Okay. All right.
Okay. Sure. I'll do that. So I'm gonna share the screen again. Here you go. So just before I go into the coming soon, just real quick, I'm just gonna go to the last question, and I think that sometimes it's important because some people say, well, you know, I have a seller that does not want to make the listing public for privacy reasons, and even they enter it into the MLS. I mean, can I still do that? Of course you can. You know, when you add a listing into the MLS, if you don't want the listing to syndicate anywhere for security reasons or private reasons for the seller, all you need to do is go into the internet display field within the form and just enter no, and the listing is not going to syndicate anywhere. So that pretty much covers it on Clear Corporation 8.0. Again, 1 day after marking the listing, you must submit it into the MLS. That is the outline, that is the recap. It sums it up. So I'm going to go back into the main page. This is the landing page of bridgeMLS.com. And the next topic that I have in here, that we have in here, it's coming soon listings update. And so like Claudia was saying, well, if I have a listing, a property, and I'm not ready to show, then I want to enter it as a coming soon. I have the option to do that in the MLS. I'm going to click here to go into the details of that. And basically the coming soon listing status, the way that it works is that it's just as if you're entering a new listing into the MLS, exactly the same way. You go ahead and select the property type, the property class, and instead of selecting the new as a status, you select coming soon. The name of the status is active coming soon. You select that, and then you continue to add the listing just as if you're adding any other listing. The same required fields you have when you enter a coming soon versus entering a new listing into the MLS. Now, what are the guidelines on the coming soon listings? A coming soon listing is going to stay in the system for up to 30 days. And when I say up to 30 days, is that because you do have the option to actually change the listing from coming soon into active, into new at any time within those 30 days. If the 30 days go by and you have not actually changed the listing into coming soon status, then what the system is going to do is going to change the status of the listing to cancel coming soon. So one of the questions we had in other meetings is that I have a property that I'm preparing to show, just like Claudia has that property, but they don't, 30 days is not enough time. They probably want to extend those 30 days. There's no extension per se in the system for a coming soon listing, but you have the functionality to copy and paste the property. So you can copy and paste the listing itself, and that will allow you to have it for another 30 days. Do I have a limit as to how many times I can do that? No, there's no limit on copy and pasting, but the listing will remain, like I said, as a rule for 30 days. One of the questions that I saw on the chat, it's about the days on the market or the cumulative days on the market. It's not going to calculate when it's in coming soon status. So you don't have to be concerned about that. Coming soon listing does not accumulate days on the market and doesn't count days on the market, stays up for 30 days, and you can change it out to new or to active. And the nice thing about it is that all you need to do when you change it to new is change the status itself. You don't have to re-enter all of the information like you used to do with the old coming soon. So that's a nice feature that now we have, the ability just to actually just transfer all of the information out to the new status. And that is for coming soon. I'm going to scroll down in here, and I'm just going to give you some guidelines again. It is optional to place your listing into a coming soon list, into coming soon status. You are required to still submit a SELM, a waiver, to the MLS when you enter a coming soon listing. The coming soon listing remains under the status for 30 days. Afterwards, automatically will be placed into cancel coming soon. Coming soon listings, and this is something very important and that DaVina had already touched on, the coming soon listings will now be syndicated to other websites. So coming soon listings are only available to participants and subscribers within the MLS. Coming soons are only searchable within the MLS. So what it means is that I can go into Connect MLS, I can go into Paragon and search for coming soon listings. Nobody else is going to be able to find the coming soon listings. And by the way, you know, a lot of the vendors also are part of the different conferences that we attend. So they are on the table of discussion of all of these different changes. And, you know, I'll just give an example. For example, Zillow is not accepting coming soons anymore, you know, to comply with Statement 8.0. Any information, if any, and if the MLS decides to do so, should come from the MLS, and that should be the true source of the data. So that is for coming soon, and I want to see if anybody has any questions on coming soon. I'll go to the chat. I'm going to stop sharing.
Gustavo, I promised somebody that I would call on them. Hold on. Ida, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself.
I did. Thank you, DaVina. So I want to make sure I understand the intent of this. It's to level the playing field, to make sure that if I don't have a pocket listing, and therefore everyone can see it. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so if I take a listing but keep it off the MLS, and I am in a brokerage where there are 50 people in my office, all 50 of those agents can cooperate in the sale and showing of that property, correct?
That is correct.
So if I am a single broker or a broker with one or two realtors in my office, I now can market to myself and the two other people in the office.
Well, it's not that you now can do that because of this. No, it's not that it's an unwanted consequence of it.
I'm only allowed to if my client wants it off the MLS, correct?
Correct.
So explain to me why that is equitable, why that is not discrimination against small brokerages.
The office exclusives?
Correct.
DaVina, you want to take on that, or I can take on it? Tell me.
Either one. All right, go ahead.
Oh, no, yeah.
I'm reading chats too, so I missed part of the.
Yeah. So the office. So we understand that the rule is not perfect, and like I said before, it's a step in the right direction. So it touches everything but the office exclusives. So office exclusives is a part that yet it's considered not being marketed to the public. So the reach of Statement 8.0 is out to the public. So if the listing makes it out to the public through the office exclusive, then Statement 8.0 will kick in.
I understand.
Yeah.
But
can I say something?
Yeah,
I just, you know, it's an excellent point. And, you know, I just want to kind of reiterate, you know, that this rule is a step in the right direction. And this was the result of, you know, quite a bit of political wrangling. What we certainly can do and would love to do is you have a lot of people who are involved at the national level. Wayne Corey's on the call, and he's a part of the MLS committee. And I think that that is good feedback to take back to NAR, as, you know, they will be receiving, you know, feedback from across the country at this point, you know, to you know, just to share that. And I agree that it's a valid point.
Yeah, thank you. And I would ask that they do look into that. I imagine and know that there are areas where there are one or two very large brokerages that dominate a particular location. So what you've done is you've created a way for a large brokerage to keep a listing away from all other participants with this law. And I understand that this is a work in progress, but I would ask you to please consider that.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I believe that the intent was to kind of chip away at this situation that's been occurring with all of these off-market properties. And, you know, maybe that's the next step. So, but that feedback will definitely go back to NAR.
Right, and I would ask that the politics of the large brokerages homes don't take sway over what NAR is trying to do. If the intent truly is to make this a fair playing field, I would just ask that they don't allow the large brokerages to sway their decisions.
I agree.
I will tell you, because I work with a lot of larger MLSs, both on the state and national level. And I do know that there are talks at looking at the exclusive side. And that is something that they are looking at. This was been a topic for some time because of a lot of the coming soon issues throughout the state. There's a lot of there were a lot of issues with sites with coming soon and listings being held from the MLS, low inventory on MLSs. And so, you know, this is just one of the first steps that are being taken in bringing the data back to the MLSs. And I think that, yes, it's slow moving, but that's part of the politics side of it, and how we have to go through the process and in bringing it from state level to the national level and going through that process. So I agree with what you're saying, but we are starting to move in the right direction right now in creating this rule. And yeah, it's a big topic of conversation.
Yeah. And I do appreciate it, but I think what you've just set up, not you, but NAR has set up, is discrimination against small brokerages. That's what you've done. You've said to a seller, you should not be listing this property with a small brokerage. You should think about going with a large broker instead, because especially if you don't want this out to the public for private reasons.
Can I just say something? I don't think that's what's being said. I think what's being said is the MLS is created for real estate, and we should be using that. Should be using it. I mean, I don't really understand what benefit it is to the seller to hold the property off the MLS, and maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, there are many instances, especially in the Bay Area, where sellers don't want their properties on the MLS, and they look to agents who can market individually to a broad spectrum of people who specialize in their area.
Well, you can still do that.
No, I can't. No, I can't. I can't put a sign in. I cannot put a sign in the window. I cannot put it on my website, which is my main lead. I cannot do any kind of mass marketing. So now this now this seller turns to, and Berkshire Hathaway, Coldwell Banker, whatever, who says, you know what? Yeah, we'll keep it off the market for your privacy issues as we've requested, but we have 50 people in our office and we can market to all of them. So now instead of just marketing to Ida's individual stable of buyers, now we can market to all 50 of our brokers' individual stables of buyers.
But Ida, you can market to your buyers. You can market to your buyers as individual. You can send your listing to your individual buyers by sending them individual emails. We're saying you can't send out like a broadcast email. You can individually market to that listing.
DaVina, can I?
Oh, I understand.
As a small broker, as another small broker, for a second point of view on that same topic.
Sure.
What I think is missing the point in this is that before this rule was in place, some of the large brokerages, compared to us independents, were putting on their own brand of coming soon that was not just to their one office of 50, but was maybe nationwide to all of their proprietary people. So they had a much bigger reach. This actually limits their reach. It doesn't expand their reach in that way. And yes, this didn't reach everything that it wanted to, and probably because there are some advocates in the other direction, but it does open that playing field. And you still can, on a one-to-one basis, talk about your strength in your community, having been there a long time and knowing lots of individual people. I think that you are missing the broader vision of us all getting to see most properties now on the MLS instead of this other secret hidden platform for the small percentage of people that really don't see the value of broadly marketing their property. Yes, there might be a few for me that fall through the cracks because they want to market to 50 people instead of all of the people, but that might not be the piece of the pie that's now grown for me and the people that now I can say, there is no hidden secret platform. We're all in this together. So to me, I think it's for small brokerages. As a small brokerage, it's opening things up rather than closing them down.
Yeah, Tracy, I appreciate very much what you're saying. And I actually also agree with you. But I'm going back to the original intent. If the original intent is to either list the property and open it up to everyone to show, or not have a pocket listing, why not just say no pocket listings? Why give that loophole of a large brokerage to be able to have a pocket listing?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I don't understand. Either you have pocket listings for everyone or you don't.
Well, Ida, I would suggest, you know, NAR is having their meetings right now. And I would suggest that maybe you start getting involved in some of these meetings, because there was some, you know, political sausage making as far as this process is concerned. And it's, you know, I'm not trying to be adversarial, but it's very easy to come when it's done, you know, or when something has been hashed out and poke out all the flaws. So, you know, it's still a work in progress. And we need voices like yours at the table as these kinds of rules and decisions are being made. So this, you know, would be my pitch to everyone to get more involved at both the state and the national level, so that, you know, when we are making these, political decisions, all viewpoints are considered.
I absolutely agree with you. My point is not to start bashing. I can only imagine the chaos that went on around the table when this was being discussed.
Oh, it was fun.
I'll bet. All I'm saying is, now that it's done, and I truly understand that it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
If my concern is not one that had been brought up, I just wanted to bring it up to the table here for consideration. I think it's an area that needs to be looked into. Whatever you guys decide, you decide, and I will be bound and followed by everything you say. But I think that there are issues here that need to be considered.
Thank you. And we have taken note of that, and we do have the contact with the MLS liaison at NAR level. And so we took note of what you just said, and we will bring it up to the table.
Most definitely. I know, David, I see your hand up. I know Wayne. Oh, Wayne, are you still there, Wayne?
Yes.
You wanted to add something, and I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, what she brought up was heavily talked about during the meetings, and we just needed more people's opinion there to say this. But there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that aren't always so obvious to everybody. There's a lot of legal and different things that happen. So those all also have to be accounted for and taken into consideration. So at the moment, as this work in progress, we got as much as we could get legally without bending too far in either direction until we can look into it further. So that's just what I wanted to say. And it is, I agree, we do have to look at the small brokers, the medium, and the large, and how people do business.
Thank you, Wayne. David, you had your hand up.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you great.
Okay, good. My question is about Top Agent Network. You went over that pretty quickly, saying that that's public marketing, but they recently revamped their system so that you can enter a private seller looking for a match of somebody who's looking for that.
Yes.
Now, is a private seller, is that considered public marketing?
Yeah, that's a great question, David. And as a matter of fact, I've talked a lot with NAR and with the representatives there, and TAN is still not working under the guidelines of Rule 8.0, no matter how they spin it. And NAR actually will be reaching out to TAN again and letting them know that that is a violation of the 8.0 rule. So if you have a listing that is on TAN, once that listing hits the top agent network, you have the same rule applies. You will have 24 hours in which to put the listing on the MLS. Even with their new setup and everything, like connecting your buyers and everything, that rule still applies.
1 business day.
Did I say 24 hours? Thank you. I still want 24 hours, 1 business day. Thank you.
May I ask a question?
Of course you may, Barbara.
What about, this will include then private clubs. In other words, there are certain online clubs of people who share information about properties, but they're private. You have to join, you have a password, and so forth. Does clear cooperation apply there as well?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay. I'd also like to second what Ida was saying, that I do think this is grossly unfair to the smaller brokerages. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. And we hear you loud and clear, especially here with our MLS. We are predominantly small brokerages. And I will tell you that your leadership that serves, we have several of us that serve on the state and national level on MLS committees, Tia Hunnicutt, Wayne Corey, I think Eric is also on MLS, I'm on MLS. We both, Gustavo and I serve heavily, both also on the national side. Wayne Corey is very active, Tia Hunnicutt very active, even on the national side. And we speak very strong on behalf of the small brokerages. So we are very much aware of what our market is like here in the Bay. And so I want you to know that we hear what you're saying, and we're very vocal. I will tell you that both Tia and Wayne, because Gustavo and I are staff, we do not speak very much unless we're in staff meetings. But when our representatives get to the mic, they speak very strongly on behalf of what we represent. And so we hear what you're saying, and we definitely will speak your feelings in the months to come and represent you well. Thank you very much for sharing your feelings. So let's see, what were some of the, yes, aren't platforms like MyTheo and, let's see, what was the question? Claudia, do you want to just ask this question so that way I'm not butchering it? Where is Claudia?
Sure, yeah.
Claudia Schultz.
I've been in,
okay.
Hi, sorry. Yes, hi. Yeah, so my question is in regards to those private clubs online that only, like, I think it's called Pro Agent or Master Agent, I don't know, somebody keeps mentioning it. But MyTheo and all of those, aren't all those private that only share listings amongst their own members?
Gustavo, you want to answer this one? I'm going to let
Sure, that goes along with what Barbara was asking, and so it's not allowed, Claudia. So the coming soon data, it states only in the MLS, is not syndicated to MyTheo or Zillow or Realtor.com or anywhere else. And statement 8.0 in particular kicks in once you are marketing the property. So if you do have those private networks that you are aware of that they're marketing the property, statement 8.0 kicks in, and you should not. It should go into the MLS.
I agree. Yeah, frankly, to me, I think small brokerages and large brokerages, everyone should be able to see and share everything that comes for sale, unless of course the seller private, there's some important.
Totally agree. And this is where we note what Ida was just mentioning, and second by Barbara. We made a note of that, and we will bring the office exclusive situation to NAR.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this call a lot.
Yeah,
we will definitely bring that to NAR again. I also want to say that just kind of remember this one rule that NAR came up with, 8.0, is affecting every state, which becomes to be extremely difficult because every state has different guidelines and rules in themselves. So that's why there's a lot of things we have to go through and meetings and everything else to try to make sure that this works with every different state.
Yeah.
So it's 1:06. This has been a great conversation. I don't want to cut it off, but we dedicated 1 hour of your time, asked you to give us 1 hour time. I mean, we can continue answering questions. Are there more questions or anything else? All right. Well, thank you.
I just, DaVina?
Yes.
I just don't understand why we're not syndicating the coming soons to the other platforms. Can you explain the rationale behind that?
Okay, so the decision, the coming soon is a true coming soon is, and Gustavo, if you want to jump in on this too, and Tia, the true coming soon is a listing that is not ready to be shown. It's not ready for marketing. You don't want to go out to the public, things like that. So it's not ready for marketing. So that was, that's just always been, been the philosophy. I mean, but again, we can bring it to the MLS committee and let them make that decision. I don't make policy. Your board makes the policy. And so we can bring it to the committee, let them make that decision.
Yeah.
If that's what they want. And you've got your chair, vice chair, and some other people on the committee right here. So if that's what they want, they can make that change.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One more question, please. When does this start?
The clear cooperation rule, it started May 1st.
May 1st, okay.
Yes. Any other questions? I'm going to type in Tia Hunnicutt's personal cell phone for you. So if you want to reach her directly.
Hi, just one?
Yes.
Hi.
Linda, go ahead.
Hi there. Thanks very much. This has been a very good session overall. I don't want to take up a lot of time, but if you're going to go back to this, re-examining this rule at a national level, it seems to me the chief import of this is not just against the larger and smaller brokerages. What it is it indicts the groups that may be impacted with disparate impact on people who may get to see properties, not just who gets to sell it, but who gets to live there. And so it might be interesting for some study, for a committee to undertake some study on a national level about how a rule like this operates to have a disparate impact on people and where they get to live. Because let's face it, groups of people, certain groups of people only get to be serviced by certain realtors, and they may or may not get shown a house in the Elmwood. Anyway, that seems to me to be the chief evil. If there is one.
Right. Well, and interestingly, that was actually one of the first points, and I think it's a great point to end on. That was one of the first points that I made when we first started, was that is one of the main reasons why they enacted this rule. Because the private listings, the off-market listings, the number was going up and up and up as inventory went down and down and down.
Right. And
they were trying to see how can we work against this looming civil rights situation that is occurring in these areas when you've got the same 10 agents marketing properties to their same 10 clients, and it never makes it out of that universe.
So we need the data. We need to go national with the data and see whether it pans out.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point. Thank you so much. I think that's a great point to end on.
Yeah, well, we've got one more question. I'll let, can we have David ask his question? David, we'll end on your question. David, what was your question? Because he had his hand up. I don't want to leave him hanging.
Thank you. Yeah, the question has to do again with the coming soon listings.
Yes.
Frequently, you'll have a client who's getting their house ready for sale, and they don't necessarily want to spend all the money to get it ready for sale, and they'd be happy to sell it maybe at a reduced price to somebody who is willing to pay for it in the state while it's getting ready for sale. So why can't we market the coming soon listings to people and try to save them that money?
So you can market coming soon listings, you just have to put them in the MLS.
Okay, and we can't syndicate that for some reason? We can't let that go wider so that people can, we can't put it out on Zillow and all the other places?
Well, so that's what we're going to look at. We'll bring that up to the MLS committee. And if that's, here's the thing. Right now, we'll do a quick poll. You should, if you can, if you would like to see coming soon listings syndicated, raise your hand.
How do we raise our hands?
You should be able to, you guys can raise your hand on this, or.
I don't know how to raise my hand in the car.
Okay.
Or let's see, can we do
Yeah, mine's
it?
just showing a thumbs
Under
up.
more
Do a thumbs up.
is to raise your
Thumbs
hand.
or a thumbs up on your thing, or some kind of reaction, or or type in yes. Some people say no. Let's see, if you're in the car, let's see, thumbs up on your reactions. Let's see, some kind of reaction. Let's ask the question again. How many of you would like to see syndicated, to be able to have an option to syndicate on, yeah, some are saying no, some are saying yes, not coming soon. Yeah, see, doesn't defeat the purpose of the ruling. No. So
it looks like there's 63 on the call and maybe like 10 saying yes.
Yeah, it's a mixture. So it's if we can make it an option even, that would be nice. So, all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. It was a great town hall. There'll be many more to come on. I think this is going to be the new wave of our future, is doing some Zoom things and town halls and topics and things. This was great. It was very heated and everything. Stay safe, stay healthy. I hope your market is going to continue to take a climb. So thank you again, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was very informative. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Wayne, for helping out. Thank you, Tia. Thank you, Tracy, for pitching in some great information. Bye, everybody. Eric, it's great to see you. Bye. I feel like I'm on Romper Room. Bye.